Hello and welcome to another episode of Focus on Tomorrow. I'm your host DJ, and I would like to remind everybody that this is Focus on Tomorrow, and Focus on Tomorrow is a non-profit located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. Today, this is a reminder that this is a live call-in show. You can call us at 312-738-1060. Today, our guest is Javon. Javon, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Our subject is on activism. So my first question, Javon, is can you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. I'm Javon. I just graduated. I'm a high school graduate from Global Citizenship Experience High School. I would like to consider myself a feminist, and I have zero tolerance for injustice. And I'm a Posse Scholar, which is a full tuition scholarship. I will be attending St. Olaf in the fall of 2016.
All right. What is a global citizen?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I guess a global citizen is someone who's just mindful about their own action and making sure that your actions are on part with, your beliefs, and making sure that your actions don't affect anybody else. It's just being really conscious of yourself. That's what I think a global citizen is.
All right. Have you ever been a part of any activist events or things like that?
Yes, I have been a part of some activism and marches and stuff. One of my friends actually organized one of the walks for the Black Lives Matter, and I was able to attend. It was a life-altering experience. It was really cool to see, a whole bunch of people who have the same values as you and the same drives as you to combat oppression and whatnot. And then it was a Black Lives Matter event, which was really popular. Well, it still is popular. It started on Twitter, and a whole bunch of people got on it, and it was really good to see people that you may not necessarily meet them, or you might not even know them. It's just good to be a part of that ambiance and fighting for what you believe in. It was just really cool to just see that, because one of my inspiration is Angela Davis, and then I always wanted to be like her, with the hair and everything, the afro, but I just can't. I'm not Angela Davis, so I have to do with what I have. And so attending one of those marches was really cool. And then you just with the what's it called, the flags or whatever, the banners. Oh my God, there was some really cool banners. And then you're just singing and chanting, and then other people on the street.
All right, I would like to take this time to welcome in a caller. Caller, what's
your name, Giovanna?
No, it's Jervon.
I'm sorry, Javon. You say you are a global citizen.
Yes.
How would you deal with somebody like Donald Trump who do not believe in global warming? How would you deal with people like him?
Okay, first of all, that's a really good question, and I've struggled with that, and I've had conversations with people about his message. First of all, I believe that he has the right to, put his message out there, just like everybody else, okay? It's freedom of speech, whatnot. And I just think that if you don't believe in the same message, then it should be on you to step out there and make sure that his message is not heard, and make sure that your message is heard.
Yeah.
And so people are just talking. You can't talk about everything. You may not agree. You don't agree with this message. That's fine, but you're just talking about it at home. And so no one gets to hear what your opinion is. You have to go out there, use the same platform that he's using to put your message out there as well. So that's a lot of people don't believe in global warming, and I honestly feel that that's really ignorant to not believe about global warming, because we have data, we have science backing it up. It's not just an opinion that someone just made out there. It's fact. Global warming is real.
99% of scientists say it's real.
Agree on it. I mean, come 100%. On, like today, honestly, was it just me or like the sun was burning my thigh like it's never burnt before? I feel like the atmosphere is thinning and you can just sense it. It's just there. It's not an opinion anymore. It's fact. For someone like Donald Trump to say that it's not real, well, he's ignorant. Like, why are we even listening to him? Why are we even talking about Donald Trump? See, that's what he wants. Like, he gets all the media attention all the time about the dumbest stuff that he talks about, like female or whatever he's saying, or like we should build a border. Like, that's stupid, and he's flooding the media just so that his message is across and other people's message is not. So you guys have to stop giving him the time of day and just ignoring his message. Yes, he has followers, but we have more followers. People who are open-minded and conscious and global citizens. There are more global citizens than there are ignorance. We just have to believe in that message.
All right. So you said that Donald Trump uses social media to get his messages across. Do you think social media is a great way to get your message across to everyone?
Yes, I think that social media is a good platform to use to get your message across, but it shouldn't just stop there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can't like Black Lives Matter, for example. It was a Twitter thing. It was like hashtag Black Lives Matter. But it didn't just stop on Twitter, because that's online, that's on the internet. Like, there is no internet soldiers out there, like, walking and, changing laws. You have to get on the streets. People have to go on the streets and take action. Yeah, social media is one way to take action, but it shouldn't just stop there. So I think, social media is a great platform to, like, put your message out there in general, whatever the message is.
And you find that social media, as well as being a great platform to get your message out there, is also a great way for people to get involved in what you're doing. It's a great way for people to come out and plan different events that can help out in the greater scheme of things.
Yes, I mean, the Black Lives Matter marches, all started on Twitter. Like, Twitter is just a great platform. Social media is a great platform. Yes, social media has its issues, but overall, it's a great tool to use for good and bad, like Donald Trump is using.
All right, what role would you say that social media plays in activism,
Okay. Well, that's a good question. I think that social media is just like you said, like you had asked me in your question. Social media is a platform for you to get your message across, and that's what activism is about. Activism starts with you putting your message out there. You disagree with this or you agree with that, and then it starts from there, and then you have marches and a whole bunch of other stuff.
All right, I would like to introduce our caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, I want to make a couple of points with regard to the whole notion of social media and basically getting a lot of your information online. And it really has become a double-edged sword. 30 years ago, one could open the New York Times, one could turn on one of the major networks and get their news, get some information, and they can be reasonably assured that they were getting accurate information. Today, you can punch in on the internet anything you want. You can find Bigfoot, and you will find articles that tell you that there is actually a Bigfoot somewhere, that the Loch Ness Monster is real and an alien abductions are happening. That's one of the problems with online information. There's a difference, and it's what's called opinion versus authoritative opinion. When, your best friend tells you, what they think about your chest pains, that's different from, that's an opinion. That's different from what the head of cardiothoracic surgery at Northwestern University says when they tell you what they think about your chest pains. One is an opinion, the other is an authoritative opinion from someone who has an expertise and a background in the field. And unfortunately, the internet and social media doesn't distinguish. You can find great articles, you can find great opinions by people who know what they're talking about, and then you can find some idiot who's living in their parents' basement at the age of 40, who dropped out of school when they were in the 9th grade, that's publishing online and using YouTube, using all of these sorts of, mediums, telling people the most ridiculous nonsense. And then what you get is a following and people parroting, and this is what Donald Trump does. You would swear, that what he answers when you ask him questions, and in terms of his journalistic interviews and so forth, that it was the last thing that he saw on YouTube is where he got his information. And that's problematic, and I think that we need to admonish young people. Always check your sources. Do not rely upon internet sources that have no credibility, nothing behind them. If it's Joe Schmo's website, that's what it is. There's a difference between that and the University of Chicago and their Department of Sociology, Anthropology, Political Science. There's a reason that the New York Times has a credibility that some publication in some guy's basement doesn't have. So again, when people look for information, I again admonish you: look at the sources, make sure that they're credible, and don't just take the word of anyone, because anyone can post anything on the internet. It's a great tool, but we don't have those restrictions which say that you have to be honest. You can claim that the world is flat. As a matter of fact, there's a flat Earth society. In case people don't know it, people who actually believe that the world is still flat.
All right.
There's another caller.
Yeah,
I love this. This is fun.
Yeah, there's another caller. Caller, go ahead.
Speaking of a legitimate news media, Fox News. When Fox News want to say Black Matters Group, want to label them as a hate group. Now they supposed to be a legitimate news media, but they label Black Matters Group as a hate group. Do you care to comment on that?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point that the other caller just brought up. I mean, I think that both...
But like I said, Fox News, they're supposed to be a major...
news network, exactly.
News media, and they're supposed to be legitimate.
Exactly.
But they label Black Matters Group as a hate group.
Exactly. I understand the first caller's point about how the internet is a double-edged sword. Yes, it is. That's true. And how some idiot in his basement might be writing a whole bunch of stuff, but some idiot in Fox News is commenting on a whole bunch of stuff too. You can't. I think the media in general is a double-edged sword, because we are shown what they think that we want to see. Okay. Why do we have categories for these different news sources? Why are the New York Times, for example, is a liberal news outlet, source, whatever. Yeah. See, there are categories for each of these media sources, so therefore they're only showing you. First of all, they have a niche group. Okay, the New York Times has a niche group. It's for liberals. You would never see a conservative reading the New York Times. They're either reading the Wall Street Journal or something like that. So
Fox News.
Right, Fox
That's
News
exactly
labeling Black Lives Matter as a hate group, which I think is some BS, by the way, but caller.
We have a caller.
Hello, yes. I wanted to make the point that, it's widely known that Fox News is certainly not an objective news outlet. I mean, they are openly right-wing. And so the perspectives that you're going to see on Fox News are not surprisingly going to be right-wing positions. Mm-hmm. I have never met anyone who believes that Fox News is an objective news organization that doesn't have an agenda. So, yes, when you tune into Fox News, you're likely to find right-wing perspectives. When you tune into MSNBC, you're likely to find more liberal, more left-wing perspectives. But both of those are openly known facts that people know when they tune into Fox News. So, that is certainly the case. I mean, that is different than comparing, say, ABC, CBS, NBC to, say, Fox. Those are quantitatively different perspectives.
But they're both news media outlets, So I feel like I feel that media in general is a double-edged sword. You're shown what you can see whatever you want on those media, social media or whatever, news networks. Okay, if you're watching Fox, for example, you know that you're probably a conservative, or you tend to align with their beliefs.
Or you just want to look at it for fun and laugh at something. Oh my God,
True.
A war on Christmas.
Or Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group or whatever.
I mean,
yeah.
All right.
But those were good points, though. Those were good points.
All right. So, all right. Have you ever seen fights for women's rights?
Have I ever seen fights for women's?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
or not have you ever seen, what are some of the major organizations out there for like women's rights
For
and
women's
stuff
right.
like that? Because you said earlier you were a feminist.
Yeah, I'm a feminist. That's a good question. I do not even know if there are like, I don't know if any groups that are like big on women's right. But I think that, see, activism in general, like there are different categories. You could be a feminist and you can be like, you know, like pro-black or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a caller.
I see there's a caller. Caller, go ahead.
I want to tell you, I don't know whether you know this person. There was a person in the media one time, Walter Cronkite. He was America. He was a newscaster. He was America's most trusted person. And too bad we cannot have people like him once again, because presidents was afraid of him. We had one president by the name of Lyndon Baines Johnson, and I'm telling you, I miss it when he was when stories went on. He was accountable for all that sort of stuff. He double checked and triple checked when things went on the air. Guess what? You knew it was accurate. 'Cause we don't have that accuracy like now, like it was back in the days of Walter Cronkite.
I do not know of any Walter Cronkite.
Check it out. Like I said, Walter Cronkite was the most trusted man in America. People trusted what he put on his broadcast. And I miss that. That we need to have more people in terms of ethics like him. Oh, welcome back, Steve. Take care.
Well, I'll check him out. Thank you. What was your question? Oh, yeah. Okay, see, that's a good question. I don't know of any organizations that are like for women's right, but typically, like when you look at you know, if you look at the 60s, which was very like revolutionary and everything, we don't really talk about like, you know, women's right for like equality or whatnot. We usually just talk about race and not sex or like gender. Actually, I should say sex, because gender is more of your psychological association for whether you're female or male, but
I don't know
sex.
about that. The LGBT.
Yes,
groups.
exactly. So like usually we talk about like the two main ones are like race and sexuality right now, not really women's rights and stuff. And like for example, like Angela Davis, she's a feminist, she's a woman, like a woman activist, but most people tend to associate her as a, you know, like what's it called, a racial like activist and stuff. And so it's just like it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Or you know, callers keep talking about the accuracy of news sources. I feel like I have to ask you a question on it.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think that how we get news is actually changing our perspective on different topics and ideas that are going on?
Yes, I do. I actually took a class on journalism. It was very informative. We talked about how nowadays people don't get their news through newspapers, which is kind of like, which is a double-edged sword again, because it's like, because you know, like newspapers, you know, a job of a journalist, we talked about like investigative journalism and stuff like that. A journalist keeps like politicians in check, obviously. Like they do investigations and then they report us on it. So if we have less journalists, then we're getting less investigations happening. But we have the internet, which allows us to, you know, like look at different things. But the problem with the internet is the accuracy that he was talking about, you know, checking your sources. Now, if you read something on like yahoo.com, it doesn't have the same value as the New York Times, you know what I'm saying? And so maybe if we had like more accurate platforms on the internet, then we wouldn't be having like this talk about accuracy. But I think that I definitely think that it's a good thing for like, especially for young people. We don't really, I don't read the newspaper, so I get everything on my phone. Like I use Google and I check my sources, and everybody should. You should always check your sources. And you know, like I think it's a great tool to like learn about like what's happening in the world. And then the internet is just so big. You can you know, read about what's happening in other countries and how it connects to your own country.
All right. I see we have a caller. Caller, go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to make the point also that in terms of women's rights, I think that perhaps we don't see as much discussion about it because women have made such progress. I mean, this year alone, more women will earn a college degree than men will. And that's been going on for the past 10 years. The gap between wages is closing at record highs. I mean, women where they were 40 years ago versus where they are today is dramatically different, such that the gender issue has sort of taken a back seat to other issues because you haven't seen the same gains in terms of issues like race and ethnicity and so forth. So in other words, the Hispanic community is not that much better off than they were 40 years ago. The African American community is stagnated economically and educationally, but women have seen the benefits of a new society more so than any other group over the shortest period of time, with the exception of the gay, lesbian, and transgender community that have also seen tremendous gains. So I think that might explain why it is that gender isn't discussed so much. I mean, the fact that we have a nominee to the highest office of the land that is a woman, and that nobody really thinks twice about that. I mean, do we see anybody out there protesting the fact that Hillary Clinton is going to be the nominee, protesting the fact that she shouldn't be the nominee because she's a woman? I mean, nobody is arguing that point. So I think it says a great deal about where women have come.
Well, I mean, like, actually, that's not necessarily true. The fact that Hillary Clinton being a woman came up on the news a whole bunch of time. I mean, like, on social...
Donald Trump even mentioned it.
Yeah, Donald Trump mentioned it. A whole bunch of people would be on social media talking about, like, oh my God, why is she wearing those blue suits? Like, oh my God, like, look at her, you know, her outfits and whatnot. Yeah. And actually, you're talking about women in general, but if you want to look into specifics, like, black women, Hispanic women haven't made that much progress. And so there's a difference, okay? Feminism is a huge term. And then I think it was like later in the 70s, like in the 60s, there was a separation between black feminism and white feminism. And so, I mean, like, white feminists, yes, they're getting all of the good benefits and whatnot, but like other women are not. Right. You know, and then also sexuality comes into play. And yeah, we're making progress in wages, but in terms of laws, yes, we are making progress, but in terms of like societal norms, we're not.
All right, I see we have a caller. Caller, go ahead. Caller.
What made you get involved in social activism?
Oh, that's such a good question. Why did I get involved in social activism? Well, I'm a woman, okay? I'm a girl. I consider myself a woman, and I'm a black woman, if anything. That's like a double trouble, okay? I'm black and I'm a female. That's just, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be that. And so I experienced a lot of prejudice. And I mean, even just going outside as a female, I always have to watch out for myself. You know, I always have to be aware. Like, you're almost too aware of yourself, you know? Like, you have to like pay attention to everything you do, what you're wearing, and how you speak, how you carry yourself, because you don't want to be, you know, viewed in this way or that way. And it's just, it's a lot of pressure, you know, I can't just be Jervon. You know, like, I have to be like Jervon as a female and a black person. Because if I act too black, I might get shot. If I'm wearing something too revealing, I might get raped. And I don't think that's okay. And so, terrible. Ever since I was like a young female or whatever, I was just like, my mom had always taught me, like, you should always fight for, like, you know, what you believe in and your rights. And I think that it's one of my rights to be able to wear whatever I want and get paid whatever I deserve, and not get 75 cents less on the dollar because I'm not a man, you know, because I don't have a penis. Like, that's just wrong. Or get shot because I'm black. That does not make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense to a lot of people.
All right. You have any final things you would like to share?
More people should be activists.
More people?
Yes. We need we need more people out there marching. And it doesn't stop just at the march, okay? Once you march and you make people aware about your, you know, on your purpose and like what you want to happen, then you have to take it to the White House, then you have to take it to Congress because they're really slow with the law making process, and you have to change laws. It all starts with laws, and then society starts changing, you know.
Congress is also just slow. But
yeah, it's really slow in general, but still, you know, yeah.
So, I would like to thank Javon for being on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I would like to remind everybody that this is Focus on Tomorrow. We are a nonprofit located in Chicago, Illinois. You can find us on the web at www.focus-on-tomorrow.org, or you can email us at info@focus-on-tomorrow.org. I would like to thank you all for watching. This is Javon, an activist and
Swag.
a graduate of the Global Citizen High School.
Yeah. Attending St. Olaf.
Attending St.
Oli.
Olaf, right, that's right, I'm sorry. And I would like to say see you all next week.